Welcome to the video on uploading the ISOs and building a Windows 11 VM in Proxmox. So in this video, we're first going to download the ISOs from the repositories located online, and then we're going to turn around and then upload those ISOs into Proxmox so that we can then take those uploaded ISOs and create our own virtual machines in the Proxmox virtual environment. So the first thing we're going to do is download the latest ISOs. Now this video is being put together in early February of 2026, and these are the most current ISOs for each of these virtual machines. So the first, we'll start with Windows 11. We'll just double click it from the walkthrough, and then we'll just go to download Windows 11 Enterprise. Make sure that you select Windows 11 Enterprise. Now it's going to ask you to register for your free trial. Now you do have to register, but don't worry, you don't have to pay for it. This is free. It's an evaluation version, which means it's good for, I think, 90 days or 180 days. And there's several ways that you can extend that evaluation. Once you've completed all the fields, you will be presented with a download button. Now, when you get back to this page, once again, pick your language. I'm going with English, the 64-bit edition, and make sure, once again, you are selecting Enterprise Download. And as you can see, it's starting to download. Now, while that is downloading, we'll go ahead and go back and start to download the second virtual machine, which is Windows Server 2025. This is an identical process. We want to go down to download the ISO. And once again, we're going to have to register, which brings you back to this page. And again, we're going to for the 64-bit edition again. And we can see now both are downloading. And we'll go back to our walkthrough. The third virtual machine ISO that we want to download is Ubuntu. So we'll just select it. And we want the latest edition. And we see it is currently 24.04. So we can just select download. It will download. You don't need to sign up for the newsletter. We'll go back to the walkthrough. Next virtual machine we want is Kali Linux. We want to choose the installer images. And the first one we'll install is just the classic or the standard Kali Linux. So we'll just hit installer and the download button, and you see it starts to download. Now on the same page, if we scroll down, we see Kali Purple. So let's go ahead and we'll pull down an ISO for Kali Purple. Now, if we go back to our walkthrough, we see we have something else that we're going to need is a Windows driver. So we'll go ahead and download that now. And what we want to do is pick the latest stable release. And to find the most latest release, you can select link and then choose this one from 2509. Once again, this is February of 26, but this is the latest release, and we'll choose the Windows ISO. Now all those are downloading, and the way it works with Proxmox is we're downloading them first to our host machine, and then we're going to access the Proxmox web GUI interface, and that is where we will upload those ISOs to Proxmox. So to access Proxmox, you just type in the https:// and then the IP address of your Proxmox server, and then the port 8006. And you will get this error message, which just is letting you know that the connection is not private. What it is private, what it means is that The Proxmox uses a self-signed certificate, so you're always going to get this warning. You can select Advanced and then proceed to, and then once you've proceeded there, you give it the username and password that you created when you installed Proxmox. So we're going to log in as root and then the password that you created. All right, once you've done that, you're always going to get this error that says no valid subscription. Now, unless if you did pay the subscription. However, there's no reason to do that. You get the full functionality without paying for subscription. And really, the way we're using Proxmox, the only thing you would gain by paying the subscription fee is you won't have to deal with this pop-up, but it only comes up when you first log in. So we can just select OK. And this is the interface of Proxmox. What we want to do over on the left-hand side under Data Center, then we get PVE. That is the Proxmox virtual environment that we talked about previously. We want to do the drop-down, and we see we got several options. Let's select Local PVE, and then we have, so once you've selected that, this will tell you what you have. You have a summary, any backups, ISO images that we are most concerned with now, and that's what we'll do now. So we have our ISO images. We can select upload. You have two options, upload and download from URL. We are using the upload option because remember, we just downloaded all the ISOs to our host machine. So I'm just going to select upload and then select the file. And you go to wherever you downloaded your ISOs to. And what I'm going to do is just move them all down and put them in a folder called ISOs. So yeah, open up the ISOs folder. And at this point, we're just uploading them. It doesn't matter which order that you upload them. So it's probably easiest just to do it, start from the top, the Ubuntu. Select open. We really don't have to do anything else at this point except select upload. And we see the upload status bar will be there. Once again, all we're doing is uploading the ISOs so that when we start to build our virtual machines, all the ISOs are already in place. And I will pause the video as the upload takes place. Okay, we see the upload is complete. So what we want to do now is we can go ahead and close out of that, and we want to upload again. We select the file, and we'll go back to our ISOs where we downloaded them, and we select the next one, which will be our Windows Server, and we just select open. We keep everything else the same, and we just select upload. Now this is going to take a bit of time again, so we'll pause the video. Okay, as you see, we're done uploading our second ISO. So we'll go ahead and close that, and we'll go back to our upload button, select the file, and now we'll go to the third ISO, which is our drivers. But once again, it doesn't matter what order that you upload these. We just want to get all the ISOs uploaded so we can start building the virtual machines. So once again, you've seen it. Some of these take a while to upload, so I'm going to pause the video and I'll restart it when it's uploaded. All right, so we finished uploading that. So we'll close the window and we'll select upload once more. And now the fourth ISO, which is our Kali Linux purple. So we'll just select upload and we'll pause the video again. All right, the download is complete, and we'll do this once more. Select the upload, select file. And now we're going to upload just regular Kali Linux. And again, we'll pause the video. Okay, that upload is complete, so we can go ahead and close that box. We'll hit upload again. And now this is the Windows 11 machine. We'll go ahead and upload it. And again, we'll pause the video while this uploads. Okay, so that upload is complete. That concludes all the ISOs that we're going to upload right now. Obviously, if you want to try new technologies or new virtual machines, just download the ISOs and upload them the same way that we just did. So now what we're going to do, that we have our ISOs all uploaded into Proxmox, what we're going to do first is to build our Windows 11 virtual machine. So to install our first VM, which will install the Windows 11 VM, on the left-hand side under Data Center, you select PVE. Now these are known as nodes, and right now we're just going to run one node. You can run multiple nodes, but we're just going to run one, and we're keeping the default name PVE, which, as I mentioned before, is Proxmox Virtual Environment. So once you have the node highlighted, you move over to the upper right to create VM. So go ahead and select Create VM. This window will pop up and you'll see we have the node that we're going to build the VM in. And as I mentioned before, we only have one node, so it's PVE. And then for VM ID, this is a automatically assigned number. You can change it if you want to, but basically it will increment by 1 every time you add a new virtual machine. We're just going to keep it at 100 now to keep it simple. And now we can name our virtual machine. So since this is a Windows 11 machine and it's the first one, I'm just going to call it Win11-1. You can call it whatever you want. It won't make any difference. So that's all we're going to do under General. We'll go to OS. For OS, where we want to look in the local storage, so we'll keep that. And then our ISO image. From there, we hit the drop down, and this shows all the ISO images that we just uploaded. So Windows 11 is this particular ISO, so I will select it. Then over on the right-hand side, we want to hit the drop down, changes to Microsoft Windows. And the version should auto-populate, but if not, you want the 11-2022 or 2025. That is, of course, the Windows 11 virtual machine or Windows Server 2022 and 2025. And you see the drop down. If that was not selected, you could choose your version of the operating system. And then we want to add an additional drive for our drivers that we uploaded. So once again, the storage is local. Do the drop down for the ISO image, and it says Virtuo-Win. So now we'll keep everything else the same, and we'll go to System. Under System, we're not going to make any big changes. We do want to make sure that we select Add TPM and then select the storage. We want that to be local. We'll just keep the version the same. We will add the EFI because it's required for Windows 11. So under storage, we'll go ahead and select local. Now we'll move over to disks. This is where we'll assign our disk space. And I would recommend 100 at a minimum. It requires 60, but let's give it a little bit more in case we need it. Once we've selected that, what we can do is go ahead and go to CPU. So under CPU, I'm going to give this 2-core. You could give it 2, 4, 6. It doesn't matter, but 2-core, because we're not really going to do a whole lot with this Windows machine. This is going to be one of our victim machines, so we'll just keep it at 2-core for now. That's the only change. Under type, I'm just going to keep it at x86. So make sure you have x86 selected, and you see there's other choices, but the x86-64 works best for me, so I'm just going to keep that one. And then we'll go to memory, and I'm just going to keep it at 4 gigabytes of memory. Then we go to network. Right now, we're not going to make any changes, and for now, we'll keep the bridge as it is. And later in a future lesson, we are going to set up some networking. So right now, we'll just leave this as it is. I will deselect the firewall for now. And then we select next. This is just confirming our settings. And then we can select finish. So now if we go back over to our node, we see our Windows VM. What we can do at this point is go ahead and start it. So we'll right click and select start. And to view it now, if we go over to the right hand side on the upper right under console, for now we'll select no VNC. It's going to ask us to boot. So go ahead and hit enter. And now we get this message. So what it's doing now is it's asking us which device to boot from. We want to boot originally from the DVD. So we just need to select the correct DVD. And if we change this and we go to hardware, we can see IDE 2 is the one that we want because that is our ISO disk. So we can bring this back up. See, the naming is different. So let's just start at the top. We'll select it, hit any key, and now it is starting to boot up. All right, so we start to set up Windows. It's very similar to the way we set up Windows when we built other virtual machines, or maybe when you've installed Windows on your own system. So we can go ahead and agree to everything here, and we'll select next. So go ahead and accept the terms and conditions. Now it's looking for disk. So you notice it doesn't pick up any disk. That's because we need to load the driver. So go ahead and select load driver. Now what we want to do is browse to that virtual WIN. We want to hit the drop down and we want the AMD 64. And then you go down to W11, which is Windows 11. You can select OK, then highlight the Red Hat Virtual, and we can now select install. There's our disk, 100 gigabytes. We'll go ahead and select next there. And now it is ready to install. We can select install. Now, as always, Windows is going to take a little bit of time to install, and the system will reboot a couple times. What I'll do now is pause the video, and then anytime there's any interaction required, I'll restart the video. Okay, as you can see, Windows is restarting. This will happen a couple times, like I said, during the install. It's just the way that Windows uses the installation process. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this again until it requires some interaction from us. Let's just go ahead and click yes. And we'll keep these keyboard layouts the same. We can skip that. Now what we're going to do is select I don't have internet. And now we want to select whose name is going to use this device. So we're using the Mr. Robot scenario in this lab. So we'll go ahead and use Philip Price as the name of the user. And then give it a password that you can remember. Select next, and then you can confirm that password. Now for security questions, once again, you can type whatever you want to. I'm just going to keep this simple use the same answer for all of them. Obviously, I would not recommend doing this in a production environment. Once you've done that, you go ahead and choose the privacy settings. I always disable these. Microsoft really doesn't need this information. Plus, it's a test system, so we don't really need those. So now Windows is getting ready to start. I'm going to go ahead and pause this while this takes place. Okay, so now that it's started, there's a couple things we need to do. So what we're going to do is right click on the Windows button and we want to go to Device Manager. Once Device Manager opens up, what we want to do is go down here to Other Devices. See, we have some errors under Ethernet controller. So what we can do is right click, select Update Driver, and we want to browse my computer for drivers. When we select Browse, what we want to do is go to this virtual WIN drive again. We'll select the drop down. This time we're not going to select this particular AMD 64. We're going to scroll down to Net KVM, and then we'll select the drop down, and then just scroll down to Windows 11 or W11, select it, and then select OK, then select Next. You see it's successfully updated the drivers. So we can close this, and what you notice now, we have this network access, internet access, and we see that the Red Hat driver was added. And at that point, we could even test internet connection if you want to, but it's not that important because what we want to do is build our network after we get all our virtual machines and our appliances installed. But since we're here just to demonstrate, we'll go ahead and, as always, when you first open Microsoft Edge, it wants you to sync data. Do not sync your data. So we're going to start without data. We're going to deselect, bring your data over. It's going to try like 3 times to try to get you to share data. Now it wants Google data. We don't want that either. And we don't want to make our Microsoft experience more useful. Remember, this is just going to be our victim VM, so we don't need any of these user enhancements. So now we can hit confirm and start browsing. And if we just went to a generic site, let's say espn.com, we see that it's working. So we have internet. So that's our Windows 11 virtual machine. It's up and going. So that completes the installation of Windows 11. So what we'll do next is go ahead, and I'm not going to make a video for this, repeat this same process to build your second Windows VM. The only difference will be the name of that VM, but just repeat the exact same process. And after you've done that, we'll continue to install some other virtual machines, and then we'll set up the networking.